Hey guys, Kristina Barlaan over here. This is my teammate here, Octavio. And so this is going to be the last video in the set series of Inside the Inverted. So over the past few weeks we've been going over drills of how to get comfortable with the inverted guard. Then we went over some attacks that include sweeps and taking the back. So now we can go ahead and try to scratch the surface of passing the inverted. Now, here's the thing with any guard that you're going to be playing, or that any other guard that your opponent is going to be playing, you're always going to be looking for what the key points are of that guard for it to work. So I tend to find that people who are really good guard players, or play lots of different types of guards, tend to be better passers. I could be wrong on this, but the reason why I believe this is because as a guard player myself, the more guards I play, the more guards I get exposed to, I start understanding what areas I need in order for that guard to work. So that means I understand what grip I need, what angle I need to be in, where my legs need to be, where my head needs to be. Everything to the last detail of that guard. I need to know how it works in order for me to use anything productive from it. That could be a sweep, could be a submission, could even be defense. Trying to get back into another position from recovering from another scramble or whatever. So with that information, when you understand the guard from being the guard player, when you're on top, it becomes a little easier because now you're more aware of, okay, this person is using, let's say, spider guard, okay? Now I'm looking for, okay, so when I'm playing spider guard, I need to have this lasso here, I need to have this foot and this bicep, I need to make sure it's straight, I need to make sure that they don't get this grip, and if they get that grip, I need to break it. I'm more aware of those things. So when I'm on top, I see if something is missing, okay, now that's the way I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna exploit that, now I can go ahead and pass accordingly, because I understand the position more. I understand that guard more. So again, the more you know about a guard, the easier it becomes to pass. So inverted is the same way. It's a guard that you don't see very often, but if you play it or at least study it, you can start understanding how it works so that you can learn how to shut it down. Okay? So this is just one of the many ways you can. I'm going to show you two. One where you force pass, and one where it's based off of what he's doing, okay? And that's more based on what he doesn't know. It could be, again, I could force him to play upside down, and it may not be a guard that he's comfortable playing or used to playing or familiar with playing. Maybe he has never played upside down before in his life, or maybe he did a few times but doesn't really know it. And so me capitalizing on one of his mistakes, okay? So first, when I force the action, he's going to go ahead and get upside down however way he wants. Okay, now, remember when we did the sweep a few weeks ago, I was trying to get all the way underneath, right? So that means if he wants to sweep me, he needs to get all the way underneath me, so I'm right on the pit of his knee. So that way when he starts swinging, I'm really light. Go ahead and start swinging, okay? This makes me really light. So, since I know that's what I need to get the sweep from his position, I want the exact opposite. Okay, so that means I don't want to be high up on his leg, I want to be low. I want to be all the way down to his foot, and even that's not enough. Because once here, okay, so now that makes me heavy, so if he tries swinging, go ahead and swing, he's not going to go anywhere. I'm not even really putting that much weight. Now we're going to start adding more pressure. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my forehead right to his hamstring. So what this does is now this is going to really start stretching this out. And so even though I'm on the bottom of his foot right here, if he kicks, go ahead, see how his leg stretches? So when I put my head in his hamstring, go ahead and kick, now he can't even stretch that leg. So I'm not even using my hands yet, but this gets pretty uncomfortable. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start controlling his hip. Okay, so now I'm pulling his hip towards me. So if he tries to kick, he's not even moving at all now, okay? Now, let's see if I think we should be okay from here. So I need to be at the bottom of his foot, my head's going to be in his hamstring, I'm controlling his pant, elbow in, very, very important. Now, this hand over here, I'm going to be controlling his pant leg. I like to get close to the knee, and you're going to see why, because it's going to help me pull. I don't want to just get behind it. I actually want to get kind of a little bit on the side so I can keep my elbows in. So I'm here, and I got to make sure I establish this position. So go back regular. So the moment that he goes upside down, first thing I do, I scoot down, hand on his hip, elbow in, head in his hamstring, and my butt's all the way down the end of his foot, and this hand is already grabbing the knee, and I could be smashing it down. It doesn't really need to be doing much, I just need to make sure I'm securing it, okay? Now, from here, he's going to be moving, so I need to go, if he goes ahead, try and kick. So I'm pretty sure he's not going to move anymore. I'm still not in the clear though. See how both my legs are on both sides? I need to do what's called a windshield wipe. That means I need to block this leg even more, because while this leg is still here, he still has a chance of recovering if I mess up something. So that means I need to kill this leg completely, take it out of the equation. And how I'm going to do that is, and I'm going to do this so that you can see a little bit more room. Watch this leg. I just bring it up, right over. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. Right over. It's literally a few inches, not even a foot. Bring it right over, and you'll be surprised how much that helps. Okay? Once that's here, and again, I'm showing this much space just so you can see it. Once this is here, and I have all the grips I want, I base out. Now I can go for the pass. I'm tight, elbows in, and all I'm going to do is kind of come up, and I'm going to pull him into me. And I want to shoot right in my hip. This entire time, I'm punching his knee down, and I keep a hold of this pant right here. Because remember, he's going to be trying to what? Open this leg up to recover, right? He needs to try and face me. So pretty much I'm kind of coming to like a leg drag or smash type position. So once I land here, it's just a matter of him, if he's trying to push, he's trying to get out. I just stay as tight as possible. Now I can switch this grip to go over the hip, and I can start passing. So let me see if I can show it for the other direction so you can see what I'm doing on the other side. So he goes upside down. Okay. Let's square up a little bit. Okay, so he goes upside down right away, all into his foot. Head is in his hamstring. I get the grip on his pant leg, elbow in, and I get this grip right here on his knee. So I just hold this up so you can see what my leg is. I need a windshield wipe. So I get my foot right on top of his foot. So now it's not in between my legs anymore, it's on the outside, see? From here, now I can step up, big pull, right over my hip. I have to really punch this leg down here, okay? Remember, he's gonna be trying to recover it, so I gotta make sure I don't let that happen. So I got a really stiff arm, I'm really punching down his hip, so it makes it really hard for him to hip escape, okay? And my chest is all the way down. When I feel like, he stopped moving or security is moving just enough, now I can go ahead, put my elbow touching my knee. And this shin right here, remember, is still just over the leg. Okay? Elbow to my knee, because remember, this is to prevent him from getting his leg back. He needs to get his leg back to come out. So, keep that tight. I can grab his lapel, I can grab his arm. I like grabbing the lapel. That makes it even tighter. Elbow to my knee. And from here, I can just pass regularly, feeling lots of pressure. To the side, I can take his back, or I can just end up in side control. Okay, so that's me forcing the action, okay? So one more time. Goes upside down. Right away, all the way on the foot. Okay, hand in the hip, elbow in, controlling the knee. Just a little bit. Windshield wipe. Close that leg. Pull. Stiff arm everything. Stiff arm the knee, stiff arm the hip. Weight is down. And I stay on my toes here, okay? I want to be able to push my weight into him to make it really uncomfortable. Switch my elbow to the knee. Right? Nice and tight, using the lapel. He's going to be trying to push away from me as much as he wants. And I'm going to keep pushing back in. You can go ahead and pass. One that's a little simpler as far as, I could probably show it. And this is more based on what he does, and this is really good, especially if the person's inexperienced going upside down. So he goes upside down, and sometimes, you know, same thing, I get all the way down, and I make it really uncomfortable for him here. And he doesn't have his grips or anything, so he decides that he doesn't like being here anymore. So he tries to kick the leg back to get to here, right? Get back to this position. So this is a timing-based one, okay? Again, once I'm here, as soon as he decides opening up, and we're going to try and do this slow, it's kind of hard to do slow. As he opens up, I switch my grip, and I shoot, and pass. Okay. Okay, so he goes upside down. All right, all the way low. Remember, I'm trying to get his hip back down to the ground this way. So he's really uncomfortable, maybe doesn't like being here, he decides he doesn't want to be here anymore. He opens up, right away, shoot, fan out. It's called a leque pass, because your leque means fan in Portuguese, so it looks like a fan because your leg fans all the way out. You really got to dive in. Now, again, this is based on timing and based on his experience in upside down. Someone who's more knowledgeable at the position probably won't do that. But there's some people who, again, they get forced into inverted, they don't know what to do from there, and they don't like it, so they try to go back without the proper grips or without the proper knowledge, and then they end up putting themselves in a bad position, and then you can use that pass. So hopefully you guys have been able to use the past videos, hopefully you've been able to integrate inverted into your game. Again, it's not for everybody, but you can use it to your advantage, even if you're not that flexible, or even if you're a bigger guy. I've seen bigger people use inverted really, really well. Again, sometimes it's just a transitional type of guard. Use it, play around with it in your training. I wouldn't play around with it in a competition unless you feel comfortable being there. But definitely, the more you know about different guards, the easier it becomes to understand it, and later on, know how to shut it down in order to pass, or understand how you can use it, so that way, if you ever had to in a clinch situation, it's always there in your toolbox. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.